Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flick. I'm Matt Atchity. That's Alonso Duralde. Monday means that there are new home video releases tomorrow.
Yep.
What do you like this week?
So I'm about to be launching a series here on What the Flick called Countdown to Christmas. Every day between December 1st and the 25th, I'll be talking about some of my favorite Christmas movies. Most of them are featured in my book, Have Yourself a Movie Little Christmas, which is available on Amazon. And one of the movies that I had never even heard of, much less seen before I was researching the book, and really enjoyed, and I'm glad that I saw it, is now available on Blu-ray from Kino Lorber Studio Classics. It's a 1944 film called I'll Be Seeing You. It stars Ginger Rogers and Joseph Cotten. It's a wartime romance, but it is not in any way treacly or saccharine. Ginger Rogers plays a woman who is in prison. She murdered her boss when he tried to sexually assault her. She gets a furlough.
That's surprisingly timely.
Yeah, right.
Damn.
You know, and it's the kind of thing. Oh well, you know, we're better about that now. No, as it turns out, we're not. Go to Google and you'll be shocked. Anyway, so she's getting a holiday furlough from prison. And on the train, she meets Joseph Cotten, who is a GI, seemingly one of many on his way home from World War II. But he actually is suffering from severe PTSD and is trying to figure out whether or not he can live his life outside of psychiatric care. And they both kind of keep their secrets secret from each other. But as they get to know each other and open up, they sort of realize where the other one is coming from. And even though both are sort of damaged souls, they come together at Christmas time. And it's a really beautiful film. Shirley Temple has one of her first adult roles as Ginger Rogers' cousin, who is at first, not down for sharing her bedroom with a convict, but grows more empathetic about the situation. It's directed by William Dieterle. It is a movie that I hope kind of enters the Christmas canon. People don't really talk about this movie at all, much less as a Christmas film, but I think it's a nice little lost gem of the 40s with some really great performances, and yeah, you should check it out.
I have 3 questions about this movie.
Shoot.
One, is this related to the song?
It is played in the film, yes.
Okay, but it's not where the song comes from.
No.
Was in, okay.
Yeah.
2, I'm fascinated by the idea of holiday furlough from prison.
Apparently, I don't know if it was a thing, but the movie makes it seem like it was a thing. So you just kind of buy it.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right, 3rd thing. I think that if we're going to talk about Shirley Temple's later career, we want to clarify it's her first grown-up role, maybe not her first adult role. Because that sounds like she's doing adult movies.
Good heavens. Okay, no, that's not what I'm saying.
Sorry, I guess I watched too much of The Deuce.
I think maybe you did.
Maybe
no,
so.
I mean, yeah, obviously Shirley Temple was like the child star of ever, you know. But then as she got older, she did make the transition into playing mature women, you know, in this film, and she wore a yellow ribbon.
But grown-up roles, not
grown-up roles. Yes, let's be very clear about that.
Your resident 12-year-old
perv.
Yes. Okay. So my recommendation for the week is Logan Lucky, which came out earlier this year. Steven Soderbergh heist movie. I'm a big fan of Steven Soderbergh's. I think even his movies that don't work, they're still really interesting to watch. Kind of the way I feel about Terry Gilliam, maybe not as extreme, because Gilliam's movies, when they're a mess, they're a
when they don't work, they really don't work.
Kill the main star, like Lost in La Mancha.
Waterland.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm not saying Gilliam's killed anybody.
No.
Anyway, this one is a heist movie about the Logan brothers, played by Channing Tatum and Adam Driver. Adam Driver, who seems to be channeling Tim Blake Nelson, as heard in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou. Sounds exactly like him the whole time. They're these 2 brothers that, you know, they're kind of screw-ups. They don't seem to be particularly smart. At least that's the reputation they've got around town. People say that they're not so smart, and they both are kind of, they both have the reaction like, what? People say that? This is a heist movie that is in and around a race at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. A lot of people talked about this being the redneck Ocean's 11. That's not far off the mark here, but I really like this movie. I think it's fun, it's breezy. It's fun to see these characters or these actors do comedy in a way that you don't normally see them get to do. Channing Tatum, although will do comedic roles as we've seen in the Jump Street movies, he continues to impress me. Adam Driver is hilarious in this. Daniel Craig in this movie is so off the hook, and he's chewing the scenery like crazy, and by God, it works. He's just so bonkers and batshit in this, but that's all right.
Riley Keough,
Hilary Swank shows up in this. Sebastian Stan, Seth MacFarlane in a small role, but you know, and yeah, you know it's him. But I like this one a lot. It's look like it's a heist movie, and you kind of see certain things coming, and it does the thing that Soderbergh movies do, where it's like, oh, here's all the stuff you didn't see, and do they cheat? Maybe a little bit, but I like this movie a lot, and I think it's definitely worth watching.
I maybe put it in the category of Soderbergh movies that don't quite work, but that are still fun anyway. Yeah, I think there's about 1 or 2 switcheroos too many that that it kind of loses me. What I like a lot about this movie is that it is sort of the redneck Ocean's 11, but it's also the low-tech Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
So they have these really cool maneuvers that, you know, about getting stuff in, but they involve things like, you know, cakes and cockroaches and stuff, and not necessarily, you know, gizmos and gadgets. Yeah, the cast is having a great time. There's a very funny running gag involving a hostage situation that is hysterically funny. Yeah, it's a charming film. It didn't completely work for me, but I'm glad I saw it. It has a fun kind of breezy vibe.
Yeah, this had one of the better Game of Thrones references that I think we'd seen in other movies or any TV show in a long time. So that's my recommendation for this week. We'll put links in the description as to where you can get these. So those are our recommendations for this week, and maybe we'll have some next week too. All right, thank you for joining us.